if this movie
Jax.
has an MVP for y'all.
Jax.
Jax.
I mean, what else are you gonna do?
He's the only one that had good things to say throughout the movie, so.
Sure. His nipples looked weird.
Right.
I was like, what's wrong?
That's the comment I was expecting from you at that particular moment. I thought you were going to have something interesting, and then you came out with that.
I think that was interesting.
I'm talking about interesting as like thought-provoking or something like that.
I'm still thinking about it.
The thoughts have been provoked. Hello and welcome back to the Blockbuster Hall of Fame. I know in the previous episode we talked about, the grand movie of Mortal Kombat. And so, you know what? That movie did so well. They wanted to make a sequel to it. But we're not going to name it like Mortal Kombat 2. That's too dumb. We're going to name it Mortal Kombat Annihilation. So this movie came out in 1997. And on a budget of $30 million, and I think Ray's going to have a good comment about the budget versus the dreams of the movie. Box office brought in 51.3. So not too bad. Didn't really make its money back. But Ray, you picked this Mortal Kombat series. How was Mortal Kombat?
Did.
How was Mortal Kombat? How was that? I missed that episode. I really wanted to be there.
For answer, do you have like a good opinion on the original movie?
I love it. It was.
There we go.
I think it was the first movie that I watched in theaters. I'm not so sure. I think it is because it's my earliest memory. I think so. Love it.
So look, even the most hardcore fans of the franchise are like, yeah, this movie sucks. This movie's not good. It's disowned by the creators of the games. But with that being said, movies like this are always fun for me to talk about with you guys. I look forward to the disgust on Yorton's face. I look forward to just like Jared trying to make sense of like, wait, what happened? It's just fun for me to like bring up certain scenes and listen to you guys laugh and go, I can't believe they did that. It's so stupid. I don't know. It's just a fun time.
This is definitely the movie for that. So, Erica, what did you think?
About 5 minutes in, maybe less, I was really frustrated that I was having to finish the whole thing so I could be prepared.
It starts off rough.
5 minutes in. 5 minutes in, you were just like, nope, I'm done.
I was like, what the part is this?
I think the first 5 minutes probably the best 5 minutes of this movie.
Did Johnny Cage already die in the first 5
minutes?
Yes.
Yeah. That was in the first 5. They should have just ended the movie there. Jordan, what did you think?
So my thoughts on this movie, Ray, I'm not going to be so much disgusted as this movie was just too bored for me to be disgusting. That's how bad this movie is. It's just... It did all the cardinal sins of trying to make a remake, and this movie's it. Like, if you want to know, like, how do you screw up making, or not a remake, sorry, a sequel, watch this movie, and you'll understand all the red flags of, like, yeah, this is not a good sequel.
It is definitely up there in, like, one of the worst sequels of all time. You can kind of hear it. Again, Erica was down in the first 5 minutes. Jordan just was bored. And I kind of got to agree with that. They tried to shove in so much story, so much lore into this movie, and it took away from the actual Mortal Kombat part of it all and just made it super boring. Jordan.
That is one of the big red flags with movies with bad sequels. When they try to add a lot more lore and just fire hose it in Dia. Carry on.
You also know it's bad when half of your cast, or most of your cast, does not show up again from the original movie. I think, 2 actors?
Yeah.
That returned?
And then you immediately take out the comic relief fun character that everyone liked from the first movie? That's another
arguably the most charismatic character in the first movie.
Yeah.
gets killed in the first 5 minutes. And you know what? He was asked to come back. He was like, all right. And then he read the script. He's like, why'd you ask me back? Like, you killed me in the first 5 minutes. Like, I'm not doing this movie. It was bizarre.
Right at the beginning. What the hell?
I don't know. I can't find any information as to why they did that. Like, why? There was no reason.
We can even just talk about the entire opening sequence because I mean we're already talking about Johnny Cage dying, and then that's when we get ready to see the awful CGI that's gonna plague the rest of the movie. And Erica's right; it just doesn't get any better past that opening sequence. So, Erica and Jordan, y'all haven't seen this movie before?
Nope, this is the first time. Same with the first
I want to know
Mortal
what
Kombat.
y'all were thinking when Johnny Cage died the first time.
Yeah.
I was just like, really? What? Why did you do that? I was more just confused. Like, whose idea that was, Erica?
Well, I'm sitting there. I'm like finishing eating my dinner, and I'm looking, and I'm like, is that supposed to be Johnny Cage? And I was like, oh, it is. Oh, he's dead? Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
It was Ray, what was your first thought when you very first watched this movie and you saw Johnny Cage die?
Oh, I don't remember. I just remember being confused, I think. I was like, wait, what? Like, what's going on? But you know what? Like, I kind of, it moved on from it so fast, I kind of just was like, okay, let's go over here now, you know? Like, and then they brought Jax, and I was like, okay, Jax is kind of saving the movie with his like, corpse and stuff, you know? But I don't know. I don't know. If we had to kill Johnny Cage to get Jax, I guess we'll do that.
I don't think that's a sacrifice I would have made personally. Because I do remember my feeling when I watched this as a kid for the first time. And I was like, no fucking way they did it. I was like upset, and they moved on, but I wasn't ready to like move on. I was legitimately just like, I might cry in this movie theater right now. This may be the first time I ever cried during a movie.
I want to bring up Jax real quick because I think they did something interesting with Jax. I feel like Jax like saw like the writing on the wall, and he's like, dude, I'm just going to have fun with it, and I am not going to play it seriously one bit. While all the other characters were trying to be all serious, he's there just goofing, hamming it up.
You know what though? Go ahead, Jared.
Oh no, I was gonna say just like Lawrence Fishburne and like what was it, John Wick 3 or something like that, where he was just like, nah, I'm gonna be completely unserious for this.
Is Jax the only character in this movie that actually has an arc, like a character arc? Because remember, he like gets his metal arms, and then Raiden's like, you don't need those to be a champion or whatever. And then by the end of it, he like rips them off himself and beats Motaro. I don't know. Is it the half bull, half man guy?
Oh yeah,
by himself.
Motaro.
So I mean,
think
like
Liu Kang, they try to have him have one when he does like the ayahuasca trip with Nightwolf.
Yeah, for 5 minutes he learns how to be a dragon.
Yeah,
in 5 minutes.
So the world's worst CGI dragon,
dude. Transformers. What's the '90s show? Beast Wars had better CGI than the dragon.
It was.
I knew.
Oh, go ahead, Erica.
No, the first 5 minutes told me how awful this movie was going to be because the sky, you could literally see the squares. If that makes sense. Like, you could see the... I don't know, it did not look good.
And I think the thing is, because the first movie had bad CGI on it, but then they also had good
practical.
and other things that offset it. But this movie just had pretty much all bad CGI, and it just weighs on you. Well, the first movie, it was like, okay, you know what, they're working on it. It more felt like.
I think that hold on, I'm trying to bring up the budget from the first one. Okay, the budget for the first one was $20 million. Mm-hmm. So they increased to $50 million in this one. They increased to $30 million. Sorry. They went up $10 million. Oh. What the fuck did they spend the extra $10 million on?
Shitty Halloween costumes for the characters. No bra for Sonya Blade. A mud bath to see that. And shitty CGI. So yeah, money well spent.
I
The
I'm just
costume,
wondering.
yeah, all the ninjas characters. What happened? Like,
Okay,
Predator Light.
yeah,
can I have a 60-second nerd corner real quick
okay,
about
Yeah, let's go, Ray.
everything?
Let's go.
So I'm the kid who grew up playing fighting games for the story,
yeah,
which is why I always kind of preferred Mortal Kombat over Street Fighter because like I was like, oh, and then he's this guy and he did that, and like I was kind of sucked into the story, right? And for example, in the first movie we watch, Sub-Zero dies, Scorpion dies.
hmm
In the sequel
hmm
game, Sub-Zero comes back, but it's his brother, and he's like out for revenge. Um, and they did that in this movie, which is cool. Scorpion, no explanation why he's back. He shows up for like 5 seconds, right? They just like pretend he didn't die in the first movie. Also, the game introduces the Red Ninja, the all black ninja, and then
Yeah.
the gray ninja. So it's Ermac is red. I know you guys are like, huh? Ermac, Noob Saibot is the all black ninja, and then Smoke, coolest name ever, right? Is the gray ninja. The black ninja, all these ninjas have cool stories. The red ninja is literally 5 souls in one person, and they're all like expert fighters, and he enters the tournament. Um, the all black ninja is Sub-Zero from the first movie, who is given a second chance at life to get revenge against Scorpion or something like that. He's like the dead version of Sub-Zero. And then the gray ninja is Smoke. He's on the run. He's part of Sub-Zero's clan, but he's on the run, which is why he wears gray, not blue. And from the robots that were in this movie, because all of Sub-Zero's clan decided to become robots to defeat Sub-Zero's clan, and he escaped it. He's like, I'm not undergoing that surgery. And none of this is addressed. They're just random ninjas who show up. All right. There's at least in the first movie, he was like, meet Scorpion and Sub-Zero, mortal enemies. One is this, one does that. In this one, they're just random ninjas who show up, and you're supposed to be like, oh, that's my favorite character. And then they don't do anything with him except like just kill him in a 2-minute terrible, terrible fight scene where they're just like roundhouse kicking the air for 3 minutes. It's just, I don't know, the lore when you dive into it is actually pretty good, but it doesn't really translate to like a live action thing unless you're doing like probably a TV series of some sort. I don't even know.
Yeah,
Even then, it's crazy.
I think the Lin Kuei story is what you're talking. Yeah, what he's talking about. That story, I think, it translates to like more TV or like mini series or something like that. But because this movie definitely could not have any more like lore incorporated, because the lore that they did incorporate, they botched it, and it just added to the movie being extremely boring. But there's so many cool things within the Mortal Kombat universe that I feel like they can put in here. They could have done, but then they just kind of just like half-ass told all these stories that never added up to another one. Because I agree with Ray, like this story for Mortal Kombat is amazing, but then they kind of just botched it, and so now Jordan and Erica can't even appreciate great story.
There's a lot of work done to the lore and like the elder gods and all that stuff. Like it's pretty deep. It's crazy.
So yeah, they kind of just botched everything in this movie. So again, when it comes back to the CGI and we're talking about the dragon, I want to hear from everyone. What was their like worst CGI moment to them, not including the dragon?
Probably
Uh,
like
I think for me,
all
the
of us.
worst CGI, the tattoos that would like come alive and like flip around and stuff.
All I could think about was Stargate.
Stargate.
They look like the bad version of the Glow before they got, more money.
Yeah.
was
For
just-
me it was the
Go
demon.
ahead.
The demon, devil, whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Gargoyle. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
the
the-
gargoyle. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Did anyone
Yeah,
think that was
yeah.
Reptile at first? It was like, oh, is Reptile coming back?
No.
But it was just a gargoyle who decides to eat people.
I'm definitely gonna go when they were trying to like throw like fireballs at each other. That terrible CGI, because I love like throwing fireballs in like the video games, but then seeing it like happen on the screen, I was just like, man, I'm so disappointed. I actually don't want to play Mortal Kombat anymore. So yeah, thought the overall CGI was bad. Then some of the acting. We gotta talk about. I gotta bring up Sindel.
Oh my god. There was
Sindel.
one scene. I'm sorry to cut you off, but there's one scene where she does a spin out of nowhere just to talk to someone who is already in the direction she was facing. When Raiden shows up after she's talking to Katana, Katana's like, I don't know you anymore. And then Raiden goes, I know her, or something like that. She does a 360 just to face the way she was facing and go, Raiden. I was like, why?
It was so laughably bad. All of her quotes. Katana said, "Mother, you're alive." Sindel, the most wooden Gal Gadot delivery ever. Too bad. You will die. And I'm just like fucking losing it as she's saying this. And I'm just like, I feel like the four of us could do a better job acting in this shitty ass movie.
I was thinking
So-
that. I was like, with less money, I think we could make a better movie.
We play. we have our Sonya Blade already. I mean, I'm sorry, but it's really what else? Unless you want to play like the female Goro and die in 3 seconds.
Yeah, 3 seconds. Yeah, no. We'll all get to play multiple characters.
Is she an actual
Low budget.
character in the game, by the way?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's in Mortal Kombat 2 or 3. I can't remember. Yeah, she's like takes over for Goro. She's like a princess or something. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of characters in here where I was wondering, it's like, are they actual characters? And I feel sorry for anyone who, yeah, that's your favorite character now. Because there were a lot of those characters where I was
Exactly.
like, man, you had that, and that was your favorite character. You went to go see the movie because you knew they were going to be in the movie. Oh, I feel sorry.
You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of the Resident Evil movies and how like by the third or fourth movie they just kept, you guys don't know this, but they just kept throwing video game characters from the games in there, but they were just like, hey, we referenced them, or hey, here they are, they're played
And they
terribly
were
and they have
just-
0 lines or story arc. Let's focus on my wife, the main character that's not in the games. You know, like that's, I don't understand it.
It was so funny because Ada Wong. I'm sorry, guys. This is a separate video game movie reference to Resident Evil. Because I remember I was so hyped when like Ada Wong popped up, and I'm like, hell yeah, Ada Wong. And then she like walks off and does nothing. And then in like number 2 or 3, it's one of them where like you actually get, excuse me, Jill Valentine. You know, the one of the 2 main characters in the series.
Well played, yeah.
And then she's like, "Oh yeah, not the main character." I was like, "What the fuck is happening?" And so yeah, Jordan, coming back to this movie, it's the same fucking way. We get some of these super cool characters again, as Ray was talking about. You get Sub-Zero's actual brother, Bihan.
Jared
That's
with the
a-
lore and the names, I love it.
There's so much coolness to it, and then it's like, oh no, but he actually doesn't really
Yeah.
talk about anything or do something. And so, yeah. Jordan, how did you feel about the acting?
I think the acting was not there. And I hate to say that because I'm not normally the one to be like, oh, it was horrible acting or something. I thought Jax was the only one who actually had some fun things with it and everything. Just because he was
Disagree.
just like, oh, I'm not going to take it seriously, so I'm going to have some fun with it. Because I feel like that's all you can do with this movie. It was...
It's like Jax was the only one who actually wanted to make an entertaining movie, and everybody else thought they were like auditioning for like Juilliard or some shit.
I want to shout out Brian Thompson, 90s TV icon of just like random side character who's buff. He played Shao Kahn. I think he thought this was going to win him an award. Like he was like, this is it. I could be the villain of a generation. I could be the next Darth Vader. You know, because he really tried. He just over tried. But he's iconic for being like a mysterious, maybe alien, maybe FBI agent or whatever in X-Files. He shows up he's in Buffy season 1 as like a big beefy vampire who's hard to kill. He just shows up in a bunch. He's in Terminator, Cobra. This dude's a legend, okay?
So he's in Hercules, the TV series.
Oh yeah. Oh, there you
He
go.
had
He showed up in Hercules?
Yeah, he was in Hercules. I think it was a one-off.
Star Trek
See,
Enterprise,
I have a
Dragon
completely
Quest.
different opposite opinion about him. He was one of the ones that irritated me the most.
Oh god.
Yeah, and I was just like, anytime he was on screen, I was just like, can you please just leave? I don't want to deal with you.
And Yorton, or anyone except for Jared, can you guys try to explain to me? I know the answer. How Shao Kahn ended up losing that final battle? What was the plot devices going on
Honestly,
that caused him to
I
lose?
spaced out. I can't tell you what happened.
I
The
know.
movie was playing in front of me, and my brain wasn't at that point taking it in.
I feel the same way. I was like, what happened in this movie?
I know. I
Jordan
mean, I know the answer. But...
disassociated watching the movie. I'll never get disassociation. Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
We're professionals, okay?
So let me know if you picked this up at all. So basically, remember in the first movie, Earthrealm wins, so they're not going to be overtaken by the Idonia or whatever, right? By Shao Kahn. Shao Kahn in this movie is like, no, screw that. Or I'm not waiting another 1,000 years. I'm just going to invade now and
Oh,
take it.
yeah.
Right? And that goes against the rules.
Yeah.
And once he broke the rules and tried entering a combat, he
Oh, yeah,
lost
'cause
his
he had
immortal. He lost his
two
immortal
characters.
status.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's there you go. I can't believe I didn't
You
follow that. It was
jogged
right there in front of
jogged
you.
my memory, okay?
I'm sorry.
It was
Ray.
back there. Just,
Where'd Jared go?
I don't know.
I'm here. I'm sorry. I was just cleaning my screen.
He lost
Okay.
his immortal status and disappeared.
Interesting enough, he was also in the Terminator as the punk.
There you go.
Random fact. Because you were talking about
He was also Buffalo Bill or Buffalo Blob in Joe Dirt.
This
I was
guy's
like,
everywhere.
Yeah.
He's in a
I
lot
need
of
to
Star
watch
Trek.
Shout
Joe
out
Dirt
Joe
again.
Dirt.
Oh my god, I want to watch
But then
that.
even like going back to the lore that we keep talking about, like Shinnok is like this evil, bad, like super strong, like villain guy.
Yeah.
But he just plays, Shao Kahn's like whiny dad.
Yeah.
Like
He looks nothing
son,
like the character.
yeah, son, get out there, another rep, son, another rep. It's like, dad, my leg's broken. I don't care. We're gonna make the big leagues. You're gonna make the NFL or some shit. And it was like, but he's supposed to be like this evil, maniacal, like elder god villain, like ultra bad guy. And they just there you
Nerf
go.
him.
You're the Todd Maravinovich, whatever his name is, dad, football dad. Cool. The more and more that I'm looking at these characters, I'm getting annoyed that they just ruin these people. But yeah, so
Definitely a sexier movie though. Like as far as like you got Jax who looks great, right? You got Sonya looks great. You got Jade who looks great. You got everyone just Sindel looks great. You know,
literally you took the words out of my mouth. I was gonna say that of course I've missed you for this reason. Fuck it. Because how do we feel about Jade? Because I was in love.
Me too.
married. I can't. I'm just saying she played the role well. Or I'm engaged.
She was the one. Okay, I could. Yeah, she did an okay job, and doing an okay job in this movie is a standout. I'll put it that way.
I think Sonya actually did a better job than the original Sonya, which I know is kind of blasphemous, but
I agree.
Oh,
I liked her more. Like her acting wasn't great, but oh, sorry.
I think what was bugging me though is her fighting in this movie was just.
no one's fighting was good, bro. Liu Kang
Not
swinging
at
on
all.
chains, just like back and forth with Baraka with a horrible giant head. Like nothing was good. Even like trained martial artists, like the guy who plays Liu Kang, looked terrible in this movie. You got Dexter's dad as freaking Raiden, who's god awful.
James Remar.
Okay, my question is what the heck did they do to Raiden? What was the whole point of him like transform? Is that from the lore, or is the movie just like F it? I'm going to do my own story here.
I don't think he's brothers with Shao Kahn. That's new,
He's not.
I think. But he definitely like
liberties.
yeah, he does lose his immortal status for a while, and then eventually fights in the tournament. But I think he gets it back and becomes like an elder god at some point.
Yeah, he becomes one of the elder
He
gods.
doesn't just lose his powers; he like completely looks different and everything, which I thought
He got a haircut, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, damn. Oh, the fun fact was Ed Boon plays the voice of Scorpion. Ed Boon is one of the two creators of Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. Which Noob Saibot is the creator's name spelled backwards. Boon for noob, and Saibot is Tobias. So yeah, that's the Black Ninja. If you didn't know that, sorry.
Okay, I was completely lost on that one there.
Giving
He
Jared, what do
also
you have
tuned
to
out their lore.
Yo, y'all should have locked in and watched this movie. There's
Y'all
so
didn't
much
watch the
lore.
YouTube analysis videos? Like, what's going on?
But yeah, okay. So I do have to ask the important question that we all watched this film that was made. Yes, it was. What was your favorite part? Just tell me what was your favorite. It doesn't have to be like. Obviously, it could just be whatever. Like if it made you laugh the hardest, or like this is so ridiculous, I kind of like this part. I just want to know what overall was it like. It could be like a voice line. It could be a scene. You could use it again for best scene. It can be a low light that is your favorite part. Just
Do not
whatever.
say the credits. That joke is overused.
Because I want to hear. I want to hear. I
Okay,
I'll say this.
okay. When the elders came in and took out the boss dude, I'm like, yay! He annoyed me. Goodbye. There we go.
I'll say that was weird. Also, not very intimidating elders, by the way. Just a bunch of like old men.
They look spiritual. I'll put them with that one. You know, they're not the fighters. They're the spiritual power. They're more your wizards. You know, they're not built, but they've got a lot of power.
Sure. I want to say for the brief 5 minutes we see Sub-Zero's brother Bihan, because I was like, oh, they're doing it. They're actually doing it, and then they didn't do it. That was it. He disappeared for the rest of the movie.
So your favorite part is disappointment.
The tease. Yes. Well, before the disappointment.
The lead up to disappointment.
Yes. If the movie ended there, I'd be excited for the rest of it. How about you, Joe?
Here's the thing, listeners. I don't normally like to be Mr. Sour Grapes and make fun of everything, but this movie, they didn't even try. So I'm just like, why should I bother?
I think they tried too hard.
Erica, what was your?
So right after Liu Kang turns into the dragon, and then Shao Kahn starts to turn into whatever he turned into, I don't remember. And his head started to morph. I literally laughed out
That was
loud.
pretty awesome.
I was like, what the hell is this? And then I just laughed.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. My favorite part, very similar to yours, is the actual CGI dragon versus dragon fight.
Okay, he wasn't
Because
dragon too.
I never thought I would see, like, rewatching this, because we watched The Mummy Returns, and we are like, hey, The Rock, Scorpion King CGI, probably the worst CGI we've ever seen. And me rewatching this movie, I was like, oh no, we have a new winner. That is the worst CGI scene ever. And then the shrieking voice of the Hydra dragon. Hey, the entire time I was laughing.
This was released in theaters, by the way. So, like, is that the worst CGI released in theaters?
It has to be. Like, because I cannot think of anything worse.
I'm sure there might be worse, but nothing that I can think of.
So yeah, no, okay. How can we how can we make this movie better, y'all?
Put me in it.
Torch
Fire
it and
everybody.
torch this movie and just give out the basic script lineup of one of the video games and just go with that. And I feel like
Well, they tried, but I think I think what you do is you pick a story instead of introducing 10 and not doing anything with them, and then just focusing on a bunch of randos walking in the desert and then beating Shao Kahn. Like, why not just focus? Like, the first movie was really heavily focused on Liu Kang. This movie really didn't have a focus on any character, right? It would just like give you bits and pieces, you know? Why not let Sub-Zero's brother be the main focus and have it be about, you know, maybe giving the clan a better name because his brother let him down and he has to like be the one to defeat Shao Kahn and Scorpion. I don't know, like make it focus on him and having to reclaim the name. I don't know. Just pick a story.
Question: the guy that Jax fights when he just gets his arms, that yellow dude, what was that?
Cyrax.
Cyrax. That's one of the ninjas from Sub-Zero's clan that got turned into robots. Him and
It
the
was
red
Predator.
Okay.
One. Yeah, it was very Predator-esque. You're right.
Erica, how are you fixing this movie?
I think this is being super serious. I think if they had leaned into the practical effects like they did in the first movie, I think we would have had a lot less negative things to say, and I think they could have made it look a lot cooler. Because the worst part about the first movie was the crappy CGI, and so I think if they would have leaned into that, and they had more money, so they could have spent. And I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe it is cheaper to CGI it, but I'm sure it is. But I don't know. I just prefer it.
Yeah. But you make a better quality movie with practical effects. I know Yorton, myself, and you all love like horror movies, and it's the practical effects of the horror movies that make it really stand out. Because when Ray and Yorton, when we reviewed The Thing and then The Thing prequel remake ish, what was the biggest defining factor from those two movies?
You could tell it was CGI.
Yeah, the original was practical effects, and we were like, holy hell, this was amazing. Then the sequel was CGI, or the prequel was CGI, and they were like, actually, it wasn't a bad story, but this CGI, like, really crushed it.
It takes you out of reality, if that makes sense. And we know it's, like, obviously not real, but you can't, like, see yourself or relate to it as much when it's not like that.
Things don't feel tangible. They kind of take you out.
I will defend that Thing movie.
I like the movie
on that one because I like, but with their choice of that, because it was right at the time where people were moving away. Like that was the big push. Like, look how cool our CGI is, and we're moving away from practical effects. And I feel like that was before the time where hey, people want to see more practical effects again. And so I'm going to sort of defend that movie because I know it does get a lot of people mad about that fact, but I'm like, it was a product of its time. I felt like the reason why they made those choices.
And I feel like this movie was a product of, hey guys, look what we can do now with computers. We can make two dragons fight each other. Yeah, should not have happened. Okay, so now we're gonna get into categories.
You know what? I'm going to add something to that point. I think really what it was like. The director was probably like, "Hey, look, what can we do with this stuff?" And the CGI people were probably like, "Yeah, we could do that." Well, it takes a long time to render CGI and stuff like that, so they probably got into the last cut and it was like, "Oh, this is not looking so good, but we still need to put it in."
Put it in the can; it's ready to go.
Yep. Anyways, carry on.
So best scene of the movies. As Ray said earlier, do not take the credits. Best scene in the movie. I'll start us off. I'll go with the opening sequence, the first 5 minutes, when Cage dies, because I felt like it actually got an emotional rise out of me watching it, and so that's the only part of this movie that made me feel anything outside of disgust. So I'm going the Johnny Cage death sequence.
I'm sticking with Sub-Zero versus Scorpion.
Jordan?
I got nothing. I'm trying, guys. I'm trying. Let me.
The thing is, they didn't linger on any scene long enough. They just like
Yeah.
introduced a few shitty kicks and then they moved on. Like Jade showed up in Emperor or Shao Kahn's palace after just talking to our heroes, and there was no like, oh, we didn't know she was going there. Like she just there. Like how'd she get there? There were so many like hard cuts to like, I don't know how they got there. Like I don't know.
How much of this movie was left on the cutting room floor?
You think? Give me the director's cut.
Yeah, right. Give
All
me
right,
the Snyder cut.
I've got it. I'm thinking through my head, and I am going to go with the Jax and the yellow robot fight.
There we go. That's a
Just
good one.
because they were, it wasn't just kicking and punching and stuff. They had like cool tricks and stuff like that. So I'll go with that one.
Okay. Eric.
Oh, brother. Can I say the opening credits? No, just kidding. The music's great.
Music.
You know what? Yeah, sure. Go with that since the music is. They didn't dare change the music for the Mortal
You
Kombat.
can't
Yeah.
change that iconic theme. You
I don't
cannot change
know.
that iconic theme.
I literally, and we've watched some bad movies, and I've been able to pick something good out. I'm having a hard time, brother. It's fine. I'm fine. Yeah.
Okay.
It's all right. She doesn't have one.
We have a
Like, I'm
three-way
sorry.
tie for best scene. We have the death scene of Johnny Cage. We have Bihan versus Scorpion, and we have the Jax and Cyrax fight. But it came with a really cool fatality from Sonya Blade when she did the
Yep.
Kiss of Death,
That was part of
which
it.
is an
Yeah.
actual. Yeah. So yeah, no. Okay, we got a three-way tie, and the opening/ending credits for Erica.
Erica, out
Cool.
of those three, which one do you think was the best? That'll be
Seth would kill me if I said the same scene as Jared. Well, I think he would agree with the sentiment. I'm not going to do that. I agree. I think Jordan with you, though, because that was the most entertaining part, and I was the most invested in that moment. And then I was less invested to the rest. So,
okay. Good pick, Erica. Good pick.
thank you. Thank you.
I need Seth on this episode in particular, because we're gonna agree. Justice for Johnny Cage, because I know he would say that.
Oh, yeah. He called me right in the middle of it, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm watching the movie." He's like, "Yeah, it's the worst movie ever. The first 5 minutes told me everything I needed to know. I fucking hate that movie."
That's probably the real reason
not
why
wrong.
He's not wrong.
He's not here.
Yeah.
He's not wrong. Okay, so now we're gonna go to MVP of the movie. If this movie
Jax.
has an MVP for y'all.
Jax.
Jax.
I mean, what else are you gonna do?
He's the only one that had good things to say throughout the movie, so sure.
His nipples looked weird.
Right.
I'm gonna
I was
argue
like,
against
what's
that.
wrong?
comment I was expecting from you at that particular moment. I thought you were going to have something interesting, and then you came out with that.
I think that was
threw me
interesting.
off. No, I'm talking about interesting as like thought provoking or something like that.
I'm still thinking about it.
The thoughts have been provoked.
You know, he was an American gladiator.
I could see that.
Just throwing it out there. That's why he's MVP.
Yeah.
you
I
Googling
guess
his
I guess
nipples?
off of that.
Well, I think I might use this
Okay.
part in the intro just to get everyone hooked at the beginning.
Oh, you're welcome.
That's what people listen to us for. Big nipple talk. Please
Support
don't
it.
cancel us. Please don't cancel us. Cool. So we got 2 for Jax. Who do you got, Jordan?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Jax is because he's the only person I've had positive statements about, and he's in my favorite scenes. So yes, that's who I'm picking as MVP.
All right.
Jax.
And Erica, we going with
We can go with Jax.
Jax.
I think like he had the most fun with it. He wasn't taking it too seriously. You know what I mean? Which made
Yeah.
it better. My comments still stick.
Okay. Jax is our MVP of the movie. Cool. Shout out Jax. Thank you so much for having a good time with this movie because you were the only one trying to make an entertaining film. Cool. So, Six Man is going to be Jax as well. I don't.
Yes. I don't know. Sibel really ate up the screen when she was on screen.
But not in a good way. Not in a good way.
Yeah, I'm not gonna argue. Yeah.
I don't know because like I really there were so many cool characters. I just remember when Rain was in here for like 3 seconds and then got murdered or
that's
a hammer.
Yeah.
Nightwolf was in it for 2 minutes and thought Liu Kang had to be a dragon in like 3 words.
Six Man, I'm going with Jade.
Yeah, she's all right. I'm not. Look, you can pick. There's like 4 people you could pick, and it's like, yeah, okay. Like I get it. You pick Jade. Why? Because her acting ability.
Her great personality.
He's quiet. Well, he's really quiet.
Sorry, y'all. There was something
Your mic went
wrong
out.
with
Sorry.
my mic. Yeah, my bad. My bad, y'all. Cool. So we can just move on from Six Man. Now we can get into the game, everyone's favorite game. Ray, do you want to sing the song for us?
Tomatoes, Rotten Tomatoes. It's the Rotten Tomatoes game. There we go.
I've missed this so much. Thank you, Ray.
I have the audio on here still, but I can't get it to play.
No, we needed the live version, the acoustic version.
The acoustic version.
Who won last week? Or
Not me.
last 2 weeks?
I don't know. I don't.
Is Jordan or Seth?
Okay. Well, we'll start it this way. Erica, what did this movie get on Rotten Tomatoes and why?
34.
That's hot.
Because
Because reasons. Thank you, Erica.
for reasons.
Ray, what did this get on Rotten Tomatoes and why?
I feel like I'm overshooting it here. I'm going to say an 8. I can't imagine 34 out of 100 critics saying, overall, good film.
I have positive things to say about this movie.
Jordan, what do you think this?
I'm going to go 16 just because I barely ever see anything go under teens. I wanted to make a 42 joke, but that's way too high. I turned 42, so I thought it'd be funny, and since we always had 42 bit of as a mean number here, but no, I'm like that would just be a waste of a vote. So 16.
Happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you.
Yes, happy belated.
Happy birthday.
So, the audience gave this movie a 24.
Dang.
24% on
Oh,
Rotten
that's the
Tomatoes
audience.
from the audience.
I can understand that.
Nostalgia is a hell of a drug because there's no way. But somebody should have went with their first instinct, and then they probably could have got it straight on. I'm gonna go with Ray because the movie got 4% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Whoa.
Hell yeah.
He wanted to go lower. He should have.
Y'all, I said 8 and I overshot it. Think about that. I was too high when I said 8.
I can believe it. The only reason why I went with 16 because I rarely ever see anything lower than the teens. And
you have now. You have now. We just watched it.
And as
This
you
is the worst
can
review
watch
movie.
this movie, our review, and you can understand because I'm usually not this down about a movie and just like talking about how bad it is the whole time. But man,
I'm just bad at this game.
I think next week, I think you guys will kind of enjoy not maybe not as a whole, but you'll enjoy more aspects of the Mortal Kombat lore and story and the characters, because it's hit or miss with a lot of it, but like the stuff they do well, they do really well. And there's just decisions you're like, why'd you do that?
Well,
But
look on the bright side, Ray. All it can go is up from here with this movie.
Honestly.
it can go down by 3 points. There's 3 points of error.
They still got room. They still got room. But yeah, no. The essential consensus was, the special effects, the acting sucked, minimal plot, like minimal actual plot, and no one really liked it. No one liked it. 4%.
The 4%
Cool.
who liked it
So-
were probably high on something, was more enjoying whatever they were high on.
No, and I can tell you that for a fact. That did not help the situation. That in fact actually made me more mad.
I'm wasting a good buzz on this
It was like-
movie.
It was like Katana would never say that.
Yes. No,
Not my
completely
Katana.
wasting it. I wasted a good buzz on this movie. So yeah, no. So, would we recommend this movie to a friend?
No.
Ray.
Why would you do that? No, I'd recommend it to like someone who didn't like.
Someone who you did like,
Jordan?
who has like certain characters that they absolutely love, it'd be like, yeah, sure, watch this.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I can't do that. Like, I'm not that.
You're a
evil.
big Nightwolf fan? Oh, you're gonna
Uh-huh.
love Annihilation.
you're gonna love him in this movie.
Yeah.
Okay,
You're
Erica,
Johnny Cage is your favorite fighter, bro.
Oh.
You gotta see Annihilation.
you cannot miss the opening credits.
He steals the show, man. He's killer in it.
Oh my god. Yeah, I'm
We
not.
spent
I'm
more
not doing
time
that.
talking about Johnny Cage than when he was in that movie, by the way.
True.
True.
Again, justice for Johnny Cage. So I'm not recommending this dog shit movie to anybody. Blockbuster Hall of Fame. I will start off with no.
We don't have to vote. Let's just move on.
Let's
We're not
next
gonna-
topic.
Wait, I was gonna say yes. No.
So yeah, this movie does not make it at all. But our next movie has a chance. I am so upset the first movie didn't make it, because if I was here, it would have made it.
I think it made it. We were
First
split.
movie, I thought made it.
Yeah, we were split, and then you were the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Oh heck yeah! I went to go watch The Venetian Scheme that night. That's why I missed it, which was a fantastic movie. So yeah, we're gonna watch Mortal Kombat. It came out in. Sorry, that's the name of the movie. It's just Mortal Kombat. It came out in 2021.
Oh,
So
that was
that's the next
22.
movie we're gonna watch. It's a reboot of the original to start a new timeline. Cool.
Vito.
All right. Well, we will see y'all next week when we talk about Mortal Kombat 2021. See ya.
All right. Later, y'all.
Bye.